Hey everyone, welcome back to CryptoCache. Thank you so much for joining me here. I hope you're having an amazing day. We're going to take a quick look here at LRC, and just before we jump in, I want you to know if you're new to the channel, not a financial advisor, but I do have years of trading experience, well over 15, and my goal is to help you become a better trader. I love teaching people how to trade, okay? So just simply put, check out my community that I have. I have a signal group / trading community. It's actually a really awesome opportunity for me to get to know you better, but more importantly, work alongside you and get you where you need to go, right? That's the whole point of this. And I do actually send out signals for every single trade that I take too, so you're welcome to follow along. One-click follow through Coinstats. It's a really cool trading application. Now, taking a look here at Loopring, simply put, we're up about 30% on the day. So awesome stuff. Came down. It looks like it bounced off of the support level here created by the Fibonacci retracement. So we'll take a closer look at that here in just a moment. But mostly important, let's go ahead and just go through some of the basics first, right? So simple moving averages are well below. Just a quick look here. As we can see, RSI bounced up over 70, right? That happens quite a lot in these bullish trends when we have a significant increase followed by a retracement and then that continuation, right? So there's no doubt in my mind that LRC is back in the game, and you can tell that by looking at the RSI, how it bounced off of 70, that support level essentially, right? 50, 70, and 30 are support levels. Well, in most cases, resistance levels, depending on how low you go, but 70 can definitely work as a support level when it stays above like this. So that could give us that continuation we're looking for, which is awesome. All right, so moving on to for our chart, let's see what's going on here. As we can kind of see, we have lower lows and lower highs, but this higher high right here is essentially going to kind of reset everything. For lack of better terms, we had this little channel kind of working our way down, and now it looks like it broke free from that, right? We got this little continuation to the upside, and we are off to the races. So what we want to do is make sure to respect, again, the resistance levels, because you can see right here on Fibonacci, $1.47, is that, yeah, we can round up and say 146 rather, is essentially a resistance level, right? So you can see the price bounced off that and kind of got rejected. But down here, of course, it pretty much stayed just above that support level of 105. So all in all, we're looking very good here for LRC in that sense. Mostly bullish sentiment. Let's see where we're at. MACD is about to converge. Now, there's no guarantees in the fact that this will converge, of course, but we can see with this volume here, the bears are losing control, right? And as that shift in bullish momentum comes into play, we could very well see the moving averages here intersect in an upward fashion. Basically, when the 12 intersects with the 26 in an upward fashion, those are exponential moving averages. It basically gives us that indication that the bulls are in control, right? So they're not fully in control yet, believe it or not, but they're definitely taking control. What's awesome too is you can see RSI on the 50 bounced right off, or sorry, RSI bounced right off 50 on the 4-hour chart, and that's equally a good sign, just as good as it is on the 1 day bouncing off the 70, right? I've noticed for the most part, RSI over 70 works very similar to RSI over 50 on the 4-hour chart, at least for the 1 day. All right, so moving forward, let's take a quick look at the 1 hour. We are potentially above the cloud. I say potential just because this candlestick hasn't officially closed yet, but this is a very good sign because typically it would have taken a lot longer for the price to continue up to get above the cloud, but instead we just kind of almost shot directly above. So we can get this support level here at about 138 to hold for the next, just say, 4 hours. Better case scenario, the 1 day candlestick for another 10 hours, that we're going to be doing very well for ourselves, right? We're going to be back on track, essentially above the cloud, above support, and moving forward. So this, concurrent with the fact that Bitcoin could possibly be trending towards 63,000 this weekend, I think is a very good sign. So we're looking really good there. Take a quick look at TD sequential. You can see we had a 7 and then it bounced back and recovered. So we are now effectively 2 hours into this bullish trend. Doesn't necessarily mean we're going to see, 7 more hours of 30% growth, right? I think the amount of growth that we've seen here so far is I wouldn't say capped, but we shouldn't expect much more in the immediate future. But more long-term, obviously, I think we're going to be able to break or at least test the all-time high, possibly even this weekend. So we're definitely looking good here. So let's go ahead and take a quick look at that first, all right? So take a quick peek here. So this is a big case, big picture here, right? So if we take this last, 5 days of trading. In the last 5 days of trading, we've seen roughly about 60% worth of growth, okay? Now, if we take this guy here and just copy it right up there, we're looking at approximately, I would say $2.35 is a better case scenario. Absolute best case scenario sets your profit target just below this range. $2.53 would be a best case scenario within the next week. And again, I say best case because we don't want it to go much higher, because if it goes much higher, then it's going to come crashing back down. We want this to be healthy, of course. I know I talk about this a lot, and I'm sure my patrons are probably sick of hearing it. But generally speaking, you want to have a healthy bull run, right? So this is all well and good, but if it doesn't go sideways and consolidate at one of these two supports, then it might actually come down and then have to bounce off again, right? It would still be considered likely higher highs and higher lows, right? That's usually how it goes. But for lack of better terms, I would rather see this come over, up, over, and then just kind of test its all-time high and then break to the upside. That would be the way we'd want to see it. Okay, so just again, keep that in mind. If it comes up too quickly, it will likely come back down and settle on the next available support. So yeah, again, big picture, I guess here, just to summarize, $2.53 would be the best case scenario. That's still holding strong from the previous analysis. However, the difference now is that we kind of broke that lower lows and lower highs trend, and we're back in the higher highs trend. We haven't made higher lows yet, but I think it's probably pretty safe to presume we should be able to hold our above support at 138, and that 1 hour Ishimoku cloud should also contain the price above that range, right? That's typically how it works. But again, when you just break right through the cloud immediately, there's subject to change, for lack of a better term. So I would say if the 1 day candlestick can close above 138, then we can absolutely consider this to be a continuation. If it doesn't close above 138, we may still see higher highs and higher lows, but it'll take a little bit longer to get there. Okay, so if you are considering adding to your position, wait until 138 is established and you have that effective support level on the 1 day candlestick, and then kind of go from there. Right. So we look at this here, 1 day, we need it to close right here, right at this point. If it doesn't close above, it's not like it's a terrible thing, right? It's still very good. It's just it kind of gives you that affirmation that that's either a resistance or support level. We want it to be a support so we can help the price continue to go up. We need some consolidation at 138 first to do that. So hopefully you found this beneficial, and I didn't provide more questions than answers, but generally speaking, LRC is back on track. This little correction was necessary. That's perfectly normal. And if you kind of think about it, we had 3 strong days of continuation. This isn't an official 3 white soldiers, but you do see a red day commonly after you've had about 2 or 3 days of solid continuation, especially considering what was the increase within 3 days. LRC jumped up 216%, right? So how is it not going to come back down halfway? And what do you know? It consolidated down here right around that 50% point. Pretty standard stuff. So all in all, looking very good here for Loopring. I am bullish on Loopring, and I think it's definitely worth considering taking a long position. Personally, I do think that 253 is very likely by month end. I think that's a very realistic estimate. So I hope you found benefit once more. Thanks so much for joining me here. Feel free to show your support through Patreon, and we all support each other, actually. It's a really cool group. In fact, my patrons request that I cover this here today, so thank you all very much for that, and we'll look forward to seeing you in the next video. Hope you all have a good rest of your day. We'll see you then. Take care.